This is Whiskey Dix, and you're listening to the DU Football Show. Football!
And oh boy, was it some fucking football this weekend.
A lot of fucking shit happened this weekend.
Well, really, all the shit happened on Monday. Just now, about an hour ago. For 45 minutes, it was football.
I think Sam is barely recovered.
Oh my god, my heart is still fucking pounded out of my chest. Let's start the show.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston. Sam Houston? Arsenal fans have another Sam. AKA the fucking Gooner Graham. Smell the Malort. Looks great in shorts. Sam Grammy. Sam Graham. Fucking United! Fucking United!
Hello and welcome to the DU Football Show, a completely biased recap of the English Premier League as told by two common American schmucks. I am your host, Sam Houston. My co-host, Mr. Samuel Graham, is away on assignment in lovely London, England, watching the Arsenal play this weekend. But my co-host sitting in for us tonight, our good friend and Leeds supporter, you all may know him as Geckle, but our good friends like myself know him as Geck. What's up, Dave? How you doing, man?
I'm great. The weather's turning. We got spring here in Maryland. Leeds are staying up. It's everything's turning up roses.
Leeds, well, we're going to get to it, but Leeds staying up. They've gotten 4 points off of each of their bitter rivals this season. A date at Wembley didn't go the way you would, but still a date at Wembley.
It's been a fucking massive season. We're going to get into it. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Well, got to remember, you're a massive club, apparently.
You're goddamn right we are.
And, of course, on the ones and twos, Producer Mel. How we doing over there, Producer Mel?
I'm alive.
Yeah,
Can't
you
ask
are
for anything more than that.
Finally recovered from what was.
I'm not recovered, but I'm on my way.
I mean, is anyone truly recovered from May Day every year, Mel?
I'll be recovered in June.
I say each year it takes just a little bit more off of our life.
We have an update from England.
Mm-hmm.
Sammy has gotten many DU stickers on pubs, Southwark,
I love that.
Camden Town. I think he should now start listing towns.
That's fine. I'm good with that. He's just
heard of
boroughs
those,
within
yeah.
London. Yeah. I love it. Put them everywhere.
Westminster. They have a great dog show.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they do.
Tower of London, yeah, Westminster.
We're recording at the DU Public House just outside the nation's capital. You can check us out wherever you get your podcasts, and of course, streaming live every single Monday night. Should you want to chat with us, there's many ways that you can. Mr. Geckle, how do people get in touch?
First of all, by email, dufootballshow@gmail.com. DU Football on all the socials, and join the closed group DU Football Show. DU Drunken United FC.
Yep,
Yeah.
there you go.
I should know that. I'm in the group.
But you know what? I just threw it to you without, you managed very well. Thank you. Good job, sir. Snaps.
Yeah.
Like that. Very, very good. And of course, yes, Producer Mel.
Illington. Borough Market.
Thank you, Producer Mel. And should you want to support the show or get this show ad-free, how do you go about doing that, Mr. Geckle? Because you are one of these.
Patreon.com/DU Football Show, just $5 a month.
Very good. I love it. You get sound check, you get injury time, you get this show commercial free, all the fun shit. So it works out very well. Or what is it you always like to say, Producer Mel, about scrolling down or some shit like that?
There's a link. We made it easy for you. I know how lazy you all are. We just want your money, please and thank you.
Just stick DU Football Show in Google. Something will pop up.
I work in the wine and spirit industry and have a deep passionate love for all things distilled spirits. So as the red-blooded Americans we all are, we vow to have a drink in our hand throughout this show and every single show. We are taking a break on number one. We are going to wait till Mr. Graham gets back for that because it's just the right thing to do. But I did pull ourselves a damn fine whiskey today. Mr. Geckle, what are we drinking?
So we have Wyoming whiskey, bottle and bond, double cask, aged in sherry casks. So bottle and bond has to be aged for 4 years, and it is approved by the federal government, and it has to be at least 100 proof. Mm-hmm. And this is exactly 100 proof, and even I can do that math. That's 50% alcohol by volume.
Yeah, very good. Look at that.
And the blurb on the back, A whiskey gets its color and character from the cask in which it ages and matures. This double cask whiskey goes through the process twice. The first 5 years in the barrel makes it bourbon. The sherry cask adds a touch of sweetness and brings out the best in the spirit to deliver superior smoothness and drinkability. Straight up or on ice, twice is nice.
Very good. And this is a wheater mash bill. So this is corn, wheat, and barley instead of rye. It doesn't, where Graham always talks about like all sweet with a ton of heat. There's nothing really in the middle. This actually has a little bit of binder to it. I think that's because of the sherry barrel. Runs about 75 on the shelf. It's a great little whiskey, and it was one that I hadn't pulled out in a while, and I was like, you know what? Let's go with something nice and easy. Let's not try to reinvent the wheel here and do some kind of crazy scotch or anything like that. Let's just do something I knew my boy would like.
I am enjoying it. I'm not like a big wine person. I do get that kind of like red wine dryness.
Mm-hmm.
With the bourbon, it's nice.
Yeah, you'll tend to get a little bit of darker fruits, right? And you'll get that dryness. Sherry is always going to have a dryness to it. It also, even though sherries are dry, it still has this kind of a rounder mouthfeel to it as well. That's the wine of it as well. And it just matches very well with corn. It really does. The sweetness of corn and the sweetness of sherry work really well together.
And if you would tell me this was 80 proof, I'd go, yeah, that makes sense. But it's 100.
Yeah. So think of bottle and bond like USDA. You know, it's just the government has its eyes on it. And it's also technically supposed to be in a certain distilling period.
A bonded warehouse.
Right. Yeah. A bonded warehouse and a certain distilling period, right? So like a quarter, right? So a part of distilled in a certain 3 months of the year and then aged for the next 4 years in that situation. You know, that's typically how that works. But what else should we always do, Mr. Gecko?
Always remember to drink responsibly.
Excellent. Let's get to it, good sir.
Cheers.
I had the whole show written out, and then today happened. We opened with the title race that saw Arsenal finally set the tone for the weekend, followed by a batshit crazy match at the Hill Dickinson Stadium that might have decided the title. Arsenal 3, Fulham 0, Manchester City 3, Everton 3. Gunners come out firing, score 3 goals in the first half, and for the first time in this calendar year, Arsenal went out and tried to win the title as opposed to go out and try to hold on to the title.
I can think of 2 other matches where they did that, but I've chosen to block those out of my mind.
Yeah, well, yes, you were the outlier. But for the most part, especially the last month and a half, you've just kind of seen them going, all right, let's just see this out. As long as we don't fuck up, we'll be okay. We'll win. And that will always get you in trouble. And it has gotten them in trouble. And this match, they came out and they took it right the fuck to Fulham. They went right at them, which is exactly what I would imagine all the Gunners supporters have been screaming for the past fucking month.
I mean, if you had the blueprint for this match, they got it to a T.
Mm-hmm.
You had Saka with a goal and an assist, and he looked dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
If they're going to win the title in the Champions League, Saka needs to be on form. You get 2 goals from Gyökeres,
mm-hmm.
and then you're up 3-0 at halftime, and you can rest people.
Yeah, you're able to. That was the next thing I was going to bring up. He's able to rotate the lineup completely for the Champions League on Tuesday, which is massive. And it also then, because you're able to rotate the people, means you're able to rotate the people again when you play West Ham. You know, so this couldn't have worked out more perfectly for him. And this also couldn't have been a more Fulhamish performance that I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, they're one of the few teams that have nothing to play for, and they kind of showed it. They kind of there was a brief period where it looks like they tried to get into the game, and Arsenal grabbed a second, and then that was pretty much it.
Yeah. And
then the second half was just a training exercise for both squads.
I mean, there really wasn't anything else to talk about, right? Like, it was good goals. They immediately got. I want to talk more about Arsenal, but there really isn't a ton to say other than they finally did the job they're supposed to do. And you can't say that 3-0 win doesn't put the tone into the brain of City and how they had to come out and perform against Everton, right? Like, you can't say that doesn't affect them.
City collapsed today.
Yeah, they just did.
Update from Rob.
Yes.
all 3 goals happened at the clock end where Sam sat, fucker, and left back. And while not comfortable, need Timber back bad.
Yes. Of course, you do need Timber back badly.
Back to your regularly scheduled show.
Yeah, and I was very much hoping that Rob was going to, because I knew where Rob was sitting was behind a goal, and I was hoping that all the goals were right, because he was supposed to, like, lower bowl.
So they were on different goals?
Yeah,
I guess,
yeah.
You can only get one, yeah. Same with Leeds is like that.
They had planned everything to go over. They did not get put in for the ticket pool, right? They kept trying, but they never got it picked up for the ticket pool, so they had to do it secondary. And they were able to get them one apiece. And they, like, Sam got the first ticket. They didn't have the second ticket secured until day of match.
Wow.
And Graham had already said, he was like, if we don't get a second ticket, I will watch from the pub. And Rob is going in. Like, because Rob's never been.
Yeah.
Like, Rob's never been. So he was like, I don't care. But Sam ultimately ended up getting a seat and getting in. Let's go ahead and get to really the bigger story.
Yeah.
What a fucking game. I mean,
yeah.
Even the first half, right? So the first half was, there wasn't a ton of action, but there were opportunities on both ends, right?
Yeah.
And it was exactly what you expected to be. Everton were going to be tough. And City, if they were going to have a good day, they had to score, and they had to score quickly. And the fact that they didn't just made it tighter and harder.
Yeah.
And it just, the funny thing is, there's 6 goals in this match, and it was the first goal and the last goal were fucking class. The other goals in the middle, the 4, were garbage mistakes by people. Like, every single one of them were a mistake.
I would say what a brilliant pass for the 3rd goal.
Yeah, exactly. But it was just like,
for Everton, that is.
Oh yeah, but it was just a wild game. At the end of the first half, it's up 1-0, but you could kind of sense it was like City were starting to feel the pressure, like they just expected to be up already. And this was with, already a couple of yellow cards on Everton. The big thing that Everton did, and it's exactly what you expected to happen, they bullied them.
Yeah.
Like, there were a ton of fouls on Everton. Everton just went, oh, okay, you want to come in and hold possession? That's fine. If you're more than 40 yards away from the goal, we're just going to knock you on your ass, and we don't care if the ref blows the whistle.
Yeah.
Like, that's fine. Like, I think it was something at one point before Everton went up in the second half, there was something like 20 fouls already on Everton. They were like, we're just going to punch you in the face. That's what we're going to do to you.
Yeah, Kusanov kept the ball too long, and they just went in on him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, every time.
It was Beto did it to him, and then Beto did it to Gay in the second half, and that's when he got his yellow card for it. But he was just like, yeah, I'm just going to fucking crack you. Like, you want to take too long with it? Fine.
Yeah, yellow card well earned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is also weirdly ultimately what led to his substitution and bringing in Tiano Berry. And Tiano Berry has not been in form, and he has not been a fan favorite lately. Boy, you want to earn back the fans? Go out there and score a brace on City.
Sometimes you just need a great pass from Mark Ahey to set everything up.
Oh my God. It was funny to see for me that it was, particularly the 3 goals that City gave up, was just this comedy of errors. And when we sit here and laugh and talk about, oh, Arsenal bottling it, blah, 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 like, that was a fucking bottle job by City.
Oh, yeah, that was
They luckily salvaged a point that they probably didn't deserve. Like, Njai had 2, he should have scored.
Yeah.
And also, not for nothing, I didn't realize that you can wrap your arms around somebody, hug them, throw them to the ground, but as long as the ball wasn't going towards them on the corner kick, it's not a foul.
Oh, if your name has Silva on the back, you can do whatever you want. Because you play in the Premier League for so long, you just get those kind of breaks.
I was baffled because that would have been a penalty, and Jai probably would have scored that. Then you make it 4-2.
Yeah,
and the game's definitely over at that point. But let's start with that first goal. Tiano Berry in an offsides position, but does not make himself a part of the play, and then Mark Gay just does a lapse in judgment and just does a soft pass back that went right to fucking Tiano Berry, who puts it away.
Yeah, that was a horrendous pass. And, if you want to say that it's biased for the top 6, VAR could have found a way to chalk that off, and they didn't.
Yeah, they really could have. They could have tried to figure it out. But for me, it was, and this is really, it's the rule.
Yeah.
The minute
He
the
doesn't
defender
make a play
plays
on
the
Gahey.
ball,
Yeah.
he never made a play on Gahey. And the minute Gahey played the ball, he's no longer offsides. He's in play. He's a player on the field.
Yeah.
And that's what did it. So, you're right. VAR could have figured out a way to get that, right? And then the second goal, I can't believe City never adjusted to this, but there were 3 corner kicks in a row that Garner was just ripping it on that near post. And no one bothered to push anybody out of the way.
A lot of big boys on Everton.
Right.
Yeah.
And then Donnarumma's looking for a foul, and it's like all that happened was
Jocelyn in the box.
Tark stepped in front of you.
Yeah.
Like, if anything, you were holding his jersey. So, like, why are you looking for the foul?
I think in general this season, there's been a lot more contact allowed on keepers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have to be playing the ball and, like, really,
Spurs earlier in the year against Everton, there were 2 where, like, pushing, like, open arm on Pickford, and they weren't called. So they've been, like, the keeper's got to fight for their space. That's how they've been about it this year. They haven't been showing the judgment on the side of the keeper. They're like, no, you got to actually earn your spot. You got to fight for your position. If you're not going to fight for your position, we're not going to call it.
But that one wasn't even in prior years, that wouldn't have been called a foul.
Yep.
And just bodies in the way.
And then again, but there was, before the third goal, there was even more mistakes again from Kuzmanov, where Njai gets through on a one-on-one. And I think the commentators were a little too hard on Njai. They were like, oh, you got to be better. You got to put it up or whatever. As a keeper, typically when you're coming out, your hands are going near post. Your hands aren't going far post. I think Njai thought he was going to see Donnarumma's feet, not Donnarumma's body.
Yeah.
And you tried to do it. You tried to... They always say don't sky it, right?
Yeah.
But then when you put it on the ground and the keeper says it, they go, oh, you should have lifted it more. Like, well...
Donnarumma is also one of the best keepers in the world.
And he's also what kept them in the fucking match.
Yeah.
As well, because then Njai would have another look. And now he could have passed it, but Njai, typically I want him taking that shot. He just didn't get a good clean hit on it.
Yeah.
But then you go to the third goal, yet another mistake. Merlin Roll, I know he's been hurt for a while, but he's been on the bench for the last 3 weeks. Why the fuck hasn't that guy gotten minutes? Jesus, he was
yeah,
a machine.
he did a lot. Yeah.
He was expected to play on defense, and then also was like had 2 runs. He had the run in the first half that Donnarumma got the hand on for the cross that would have surely been a goal by Beto as well. And here was the one lapse that if I'm gonna be critical of Everton in the match, this is where I'll be critical of them. They go up 3-1 right off the kickoff, and it's 2 veteran center backs, and they both went in opposite directions and let Holland run right down the fucking middle.
I mean, it was like from the kickoff, all of a sudden, I was at work, so I was kind of looking at my work screen, looking at the laptop. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, Holland's on goal, and it's 3-2, and you go, they got plenty of time to do something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then ultimately, 6 minutes added in the 98th minute, Jeremy Doku finally equalizes. I'm not sure it was necessarily a corner, but, that's fine. It felt like it was going to be too good to be true for Everton to actually win the game, right? For Moyes to finally beat Pep, for Arsenal to be completely in the clear, right? Like it was too good to be true. And Doku gets that, and I've heard some people be like, we were too passive on both those goals. We were off them a little bit. That's kind of the point. Like, okay, you can only beat us in one spot. We dare you to hit it.
Yeah, I mean,
he hit it twice.
Everyone for Everton was in the box. So he had to really...
And also, how many times do you see that shot go in road Z?
Oh, yeah, or get blocked,
Doku hit 2 fucking gems. What are you gonna do?
And he hasn't done anything else this whole season. Yeah, pretty much.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
but
that's City for you.
But then there you have it. The table is now set. City has dropped points.
Yeah.
All Arsenal has to do is win out. Win every game.
Yeah.
And you win the title. There is no way City can catch you. And also, not for nothing, City still got to play Bournemouth, and Bournemouth are on a 15-game unbeaten streak.
Yeah.
Brentford is fighting for European opportunities.
And they always give City a hard time.
And the final match of the season's Villa. It may not matter by then. But the other big one, I don't know if they're going to Palace or if they're at home. But if they're at Palace, Palace hasn't given up a goal at Palace in like 5 fucking matches. Like, they've been on a roll.
Yeah.
But then, of course, that's going to change because Everton's going to score on them this weekend. That's all. But,
well, they got their mind elsewhere.
What do you think, Geck? Do you think that Arsenal can hold on, or are they going to fuck it up?
I think at this point, they don't have to leave London. They've got a 2-point lead. And, I mean, I know the goal difference is close, but it doesn't matter now if they win out. Palace last match of the season, I don't know when the Conference League final is, but I think it might be after the season. So Palace is one you know, they're not thinking about Arsenal.
No, not one bit. They won't be thinking about City either, frankly, unless it's in their building. In their building, they'll care.
Yeah, I mean, it's Arsenal's like at or home Burnley, at West Ham, and then at Palace, I think.
At Palace to finish the season.
So I mean, I think they can win those 3.
Yeah.
And the way they played Saturday, you would think they've got to have confidence.
Well, and also now the goal differential is 4, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, 37 to 41.
That's big.
Yeah, I mean that's massive. Boys, we couldn't have done much more for you. And also, I would love to end up seeing Arsenal win it, so then I can just hold it over those fuckers' heads.
That's
from now on.
Part your trophy.
Yeah. Yeah. You won the title thanks to us, not thanks to you.
I will say that point is big for City because now if Arsenal draw a match, they still have a chance.
They still have a chance. They had to get that draw.
Yeah.
If they would have lost, it was over.
Yeah.
In a fight for the final Champions League spots are taking shape with a classic Northwest derby and 2 big clubs also battling for 1 Champion League aspirations. But for the other one is a faded memory as they're trying to survive relegation. Manchester United 3, Liverpool 2, Spurs 2, Villa 1. United played an almost perfect first half until they gave up the 1 goal.
Well, that was in the second half.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was the very end of the first half. But here's the thing for United. They play fucking perfectly. They're also playing perfectly against a completely depleted Liverpool team. And yet somehow find a way to let Liverpool back into the fucking match? Yeah,
they were clearly the better team in the first half, but their 2 goals were still pretty fortunate.
Mm-hmm. That second goal, I thought the rule was if you handle the ball in the lead up to a goal, it's a handball. Now, yes, Van Dijk literally pushed Šeško's arm into the ball. Like it looked like he almost grabbed his arm and went, "Here, puppet, hit the ball with your hand." I mean, it was almost that bad, but it hit your hand on the way into the goal. Thought that was a handball. Thought that's what you call that. I mean,
from the replay, it did kind of look hard to tell.
Yeah.
And he doesn't really hit the, I know he scored and he touched it.
Yeah.
Or, they wrote a letter or whatever. But I mean, I think before we changed the handball rule, we would look at that and go, that's a goal.
Yeah.
And there wouldn't be a discussion. When it was deliberately handled the ball, you go, that's not deliberately handling the ball. That's grazing it with, and then it hit off your
hand.
Yeah.
That's
and
what
it went like, ooh, I'm just like,
yeah. Oh yeah, I'm with you on all of that, but dem not the rules.
Well, who knows what rules the Premier League refs are following?
I mean,
VAR.
We are starting to see it has become so blatantly bad with VAR. Like you look at, like I said today, Bernardo Silva literally turns around, puts his arms around Merlin Roll, and just swings him around, and then falls on him, and it's like he's not even looking where the ball's coming.
Yeah.
He's legitimately only and nothing. In this instance, if the rule is if the ball hits your hand in the lead up to a goal, it's a handball, and then the ball hit his hand. Like that's a handball.
Yeah,
Like,
that's the rules.
It's a handball,
Yeah.
all right?
At the very least, Bruno Fernandes doesn't get credit for an assist on that one.
Right, which now has got him tied with Thierry Henry and Kevin De Bruyne for most assists in a single season with 3 matches left. In all likelihood, you have to assume he is going to break that record.
Man U, their attack has been actually pretty good all year, so probably.
Oh, yeah. You have to imagine. So, and credit Liverpool legitimately. They are down to nothing. Like, it's Gakpo.
Oh, they're playing Curtis Jones at right back.
Like, they have...
And they're right back at right wing.
They have no one to use right now. They are completely depleted. And the fact that they even made it a game was surprising. Like, that should have been 3-0.
Well, Man U gave them 2 gifts.
Yes, they did. Absolutely, they did. Which is where I think the next question that I'm going to ask you, I don't have it listed, but it's worth asking, is, all right, Manchester United's likely finishing in 3rd.
Yeah. They've clinched Champions League with that win.
Why do we feel like they're not still back? Because it's like this
Oh,
shit,
they're definitely
right?
not back. Their
Right?
defense is still pretty bad.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, I mean, they have plenty of money to spend from somewhere. They always do. But the other thing is, so when Leeds beat them, Carrick, all he could do was complain about the red card.
Right.
Like, brother, you got absolutely played off the park.
Oh,
and you
God,
didn't say anything about it.
Yeah.
So if you don't have that, like, inward looking at you and going, we need to be better, like, I still, if it starts to go wrong, I think it'll roll down the hill again.
So you have to give Carrick the job, right? Yeah, I feel like you kind of have to.
At this point, he's with his record, you've kind of, Who are you going to get that's better?
And now that's 3 in a row, right? And next up is a winnable game. It's at Sunderland, but Sunderland's been losing at home lately. You think of that 5-0.
And their center back is a 3-match suspension, which we'll get onto.
Yep. Well, it's I have already dropped him in fantasy. Thank you very much. It could be why I drew and didn't win because of his -2 fucking points.
Theoretically.
Yes. That should be a win. Then it's Forest. Well, at that point, Forest may already be safe. So Forest may not fucking care.
I think so. I think they're 6 points ahead of West Ham. I don't know when Forest play, but West Ham plays Arsenal on Sunday. If Arsenal beat West Ham, I know Leeds are safe.
Yes.
I guess technically Forest wouldn't be, but they're so far ahead in goal difference that they would be.
They talked about it today. Forest plays Newcastle on Saturday. A draw and a West Ham loss makes them safe. A win makes them safe. So if they beat Newcastle, they're safe.
I think as long as they don't lose 5-0 to Newcastle and West Ham lose, they're safe.
Yeah,
because they're like 10 goals ahead in goal difference.
Agreed that they are. Especially that big one at Sunderland really helped swing the tide for Forest. And also not for nothing, Forest they do have a 1-0 lead on Villa. Now they got to go to Villa for the Europa League, but yeah, they do have the lead on them currently. With Liverpool, do we think Slot's on next year, or do we think he's gone? I tend to think he's gone myself.
It just seems off there. And if Xabi Alonso is available, if he wants to go manage Liverpool, I think the Liverpool fans would take that over whatever Slot did this season.
Yeah.
Even though he won a title, I think I would go with Xabi. Just the vibes they need that would lift up the.
But they got to make changes in the middle of the field, and they got to make changes at the back.
Well,
too.
they're going to have to.
And who knows how much money they're really going to have to spend.
I mean, you remember 2 seasons ago they only bought Chiesa for like $10 million, so it's a rolling 3 years. So even though they spent all the money this year, they still sold a few people.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they'll have. And then the Prem doesn't seem to want to punish anybody in the Big Six.
Right.
I'm sure they'll spend $200 million on
and
players.
get away with it just fine.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Spurs finally show some fucking resolve. They actually look like a team who was trying to fucking survive.
And Villa looked like they gave a bunch of Make-A-Wish kids Villa jerseys for the first half.
It was horrid. Absolutely horrid. There was, it just The second goal to Richarlison was a great fucking pass for the goal, but it was just like, it didn't really even feel like Villa felt like even fucking defending. Like they were just like, I was just kind of, I understand that there's one eye on Europa right now, but to just look that inept
At home.
yeah, was shocking. It was absolutely shocking.
I mean, we'll get on to Forest, and they rotated a ton, but they fucking showed up today.
Right, they did.
And I mean, I don't begrudge them to rotate, but like that was awful.
Yeah, no, it was fucking horrific. And just, I mean, yeah, they get a goal at the end, and that really means fucking nothing. But for Spurs, this now puts them 1 point ahead. They're just outside of the drop, and now the onus is on, again, West Ham to get points.
And their goal differential is much better than West Ham's.
Yes, and I don't see... Yes, West Ham play Arsenal tough. They've played Arsenal tough the past couple of seasons. You don't think for a second Arteta is going to be in his players' heads about that and reminding them, you're not going to drop points to these fuckers. You've dropped points before to these fuckers, and you've lost the league because of it.
Oh, after Atleti, he's got to be saying, it doesn't matter what City did. We got to take care of ours. If he's a good manager, you know, which I think he is.
Sorry, that was just me checking my notes because it sounded like you were talking about Arsenal again.
Yeah, it was just a little, just for a second. You know? Well, I mean, well then, since you want to have your mic on, let's go ahead and hand you your shot of Malort, producer Mel. I know there's not much to say because it was really bad.
That's an awful small one. That's very nice of you. It should be way bigger.
It's up to the logo, which is where it always is
Yeah,
at.
the tails.
Yeah, I had to say, we were at my mom's birthday party, fellow Villanista Cole and I, and we were doing updates. And then at some point, I went, fuck this, put my phone away.
I will say it was a good second half nap.
Yeah. I mean, I had to go back and watch the highlights, and I wanted to stab my eyes out with a pencil watching the fucking highlights. And that's just the highlights. How you doing over there, producer Mel?
Weird that it doesn't taste that bad.
Well, it's because you had to throw back a couple.
I've been getting used to it lately.
Yeah,
I don't like this trend.
Yeah, well, I mean, you started the year drinking it a lot, and you're ending the year drinking it a lot. It was just in the middle when you went on that nice run where you didn't drink it a lot. Remember when you were a potential title contender, Smell? Remember that? That was nice.
I never thought that.
I never thought that either, but it was a fun week.
It was a fun week. All right, so Geck, now that you are almost afforded the luxury of being safe, I know that there's still that little bit of doubt in your head because Leeds.
Yeah.
Who do you think it is? Who do you think goes down? Do you think it's Spurs or do you think it's West Ham?
I think De Zerbi's kind of instilled enough in them that they'll get it over the line. I think West Ham had their little run of form, but it comes down to Leeds. They play both Spurs and West Ham away, so Leeds in London, you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, you do know what's going to happen. Normally, you lose, except for this year, you finally figured out how to
a few
couple
times.
of draws.
Yeah.
Rounding out the rest of the league, and so that happened. Leeds 3, Burnley 1, Brentford 3, West Ham 0, Newcastle 3, Brighton 1, Sunderland 1, Wolves 1, Bournemouth 3, Palace 1, Forest 3, Chelsea 1. No, I'm sorry, Palace was 0. They didn't score a goal. My apologies there. So I really wanted to do a whole segment just on Leeds and Burnley because I wanted to let you talk about your time over there. So I actually got us through the first two segments a little quick because we're actually going to now talk about Leeds and you getting to go over there. Pretty simple. This match was all Leeds. I'm a little surprised.
Let's talk about the second goal.
Yeah, go for it.
DCL with that sick back heel and then a cross for a volley just calmly into the side of the net. It's beautiful.
Yep. I mean, your team's actually playing football. It's kind of nice, isn't it?
Yeah, we try.
Yeah. Well, I think we all doubted it at the start of the year, and I would say you all as Leeds supporters were kind of like, well, let's fucking see, maybe, right? That he was going to go with a bunch of big fuckers, and you all were going to be physical. What wasn't going to happen is you weren't going to get beat off the ball. And it's worked. It's fucking worked.
I know a lot of people weren't sold on Farka. I had some doubts in that City match when they lost. They came back from 2 goals down, and then eventually lost. But he finally changed the formation, and that just opened up the whole season.
Yeah,
and they've been since that happened. They're like 6th in the league.
Yeah. Real quick on Burnley, I'm going to keep saying it every week, and I'm going to say it again this week. I'm going to pull a Graham 5 times thing. Is I don't see Burnley being anything but 20th. I Wolves still play Burnley, and I think Wolves will beat Burnley. I think Burnley's the last place team. And also, mutually agreeing to let go of Parker with a couple of games, you should have taken him down with you, because I think you would have done well with them in the championship.
So like Graham said, suck but try.
Right.
So that the team sucked but tried. The board sucked but didn't try.
Yeah. Yeah.
They've been going this way the whole season. Like, why not go with someone else and give it a go? And now at this point, you're just, I don't know, you bring Deitch back for the championship?
Like, it just didn't make any sense to me. Like, well, and also Parker had a really good year with the team in the championship, and you spent some money, but you didn't really spend any money. Like, not enough. You didn't make the attempts that both Leeds and Sunderland went, we're staying in the fucking league.
Yeah, Burnley had some loan options that they had to make good because they got promoted.
Mm-hmm.
But they spent $20 million on Armando Broja. He's got 1 goal.
Yeah, right, precisely. And I just don't get why firing Parker, but now why should those guys even care? They're not auditioning for anybody. That's not going to be the coach.
That's like the one positive, I guess, if you're a Burnley fan for next season, is no one's coming in for any of your players other than maybe Steve.
Yeah. He's definitely going to be gone. Yeah, that's the only one that's going to be gone. And the other ones that are going to walk, like the, you think of like Kyle Walkers and stuff like that, like they were only going to be there for a year if you stayed up anyways.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
So really no big deal. But let's talk about you. The week before, you got to go with your lovely bride to Leeds for the Wolves match. Tell us all about the lead up, all the fun stuff, just everything. We want to hear all about it.
Yes, it was fucking amazing. So there's like one direct flight a night that goes from Baltimore to London. So we flew out Wednesday night to Heathrow, took the tube to King's Cross, and took like the 2-hour, 10-minute train ride up to Leeds. And there was a delay in front of us that ended up being like 2 minutes, but I was like, I got to go to the beverage guy. So I went and got a couple of Madries on the train up.
Love it.
Landed in Leeds on Thursday afternoon. Got settled, hit the pubs. Found there's like one bar in Leeds that has Beamish. So
very cool.
To Ireland last year, I had to get a Beamish. Like scoped it out. And then got a few more beers, and then made friends with some bartenders at a bar like across from our hotel. And then we saw them the next day, and they're like, David and Megan, hi. We're like, oh, hi. We're like, oh. So they were like, you guys are so cool. We're like, oh my goodness. They like told their bartender friends about us.
Like us.
Yeah, I know, pretty much. Friday we did a day trip to York, which is like, imagine Fells Point if it was in 1,000-year-old Roman city.
Oh, fun.
So there's like Roman walls, like a giant cathedral, and there's like pubs all over the place. And their main like kind of touristy area is called the Shambles, which is where It's a Shambles comes from.
That's a fantastic title. I love that.
So I guess it came from, there was like butchers, and they had like the shelves, and they were kind of askew. So that's kind of where the name came from. But so ran into some Yeovil Town fans on an away day because they were playing York.
Oh, no shit. Okay.
And they taught me their Luke Ayling song, and we sung it together. The only line I can remember is that they'd let him shag his wife, their wives.
Oh, fabulous.
But then they were all, as I was leaving, they're like, we all hate Leeds scum. I was like, we all hate Leeds scum. I was like, like fair play.
Yeah, I'll let you get away with it.
Yeah.
That was the day before York City's match, right? Wasn't it? Or
yeah, it was. So they played on the Saturday. And then we got back from York and met up with Lars and Eric. And we went to the Moot Hall Arms, which is like the Leeds pub. There's like Leeds shit everywhere. So it's just, we were just talking to all the Leeds fans, and or at least Lars and I were. And then Megan and Eric were like, look at our fucking asshole finders that we're with.
Yes, we're going to sit here and talk to each other and ignore everybody else.
Yeah.
But let the two social butterflies go be social butterflies.
And then so Saturday we were rested and ready to go.
About to tell us about your posh ass experience.
Yeah, so Leeds tickets are hard to come by. So Lars and Eric had got hospitality, but like the one where you can wear a jersey and stuff. And they were all sold out. by this was November, December. Mm-hmm. So I got the cheapest, quote unquote, hospitality package that was left. And it had a 5-course meal, all you can drink. You couldn't wear a kit.
Can't wear a kit. You have to be in a collared shirt.
I had a sweater.
Okay, gotcha.
I had a dark blue Leeds sweater.
Okay.
But you could wear sneakers, thankfully.
Good.
But yeah, the food was fantastic. They had a lobster empanada, and then a grilled lamb shank. It was so good.
So for people, talk a little bit about what that hospitality setup is, what you get. You kind of obviously the meal and everything, but it's very different from just being outside the grounds in a pub, having a pint, and then walking through the turnstile and going to your seat.
Yeah, so it's you get a server and everything, and they're right before we go in for the match, they're what do you want at halftime? I was well, Guinness, obviously, but right. I was oh, that's smart, because you only have 15 minutes. But yeah, fancy servers and you get to meet a former player or two. Doesn't somebody come through? Yeah, somebody comes and they do a little preview. I actually didn't know who it was. Mm-hmm. The people that came for Lars and Eric's, I was Tony DeRico. I was I would have loved to see Tony DeRico. Mm-hmm. So I guess I also didn't fanboy out, which I guess is probably a good thing. Right. Your wife wouldn't have been more embarrassed by you? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, she just films me when I do it. I think she likes doing that now. I saw multiple Facebook posts about you going off being a nerd. Yeah. And she was look at my husband being a jackass. Yeah, and then so 15 minutes before we all everyone walks to their seats together. Mm-hmm. So we're in the east stand up at the top. So it's it's weird for football that all the best seats are up at the top, but you can see everything, right? Which is pretty fucking awesome. Is it a little bit more of a roomier seat as well, or is it all pretty tight? It's still pretty tight. Yeah. It's still the seats you go, okay, this is a regular seat. Got it. You just have you eat beforehand, you walk upstairs, you come back down for a pint, you go back upstairs, and some dessert. Nice, very good, very good. Yeah, and then so the first goal, score a fucking bike. Mm-hmm. I've been supporting Leeds since the 2012. I've never seen Leeds score a bike. Right. And I didn't hear anyone talk about famous Leeds United bicycle kicks. So I was oh shit, this never happens. And then they score right after, and the guy next to me, we're hugging. Right. Because it's 2 minutes after, and I do a Howard Dean. Yeah. Because it was it was a counterattack. I see Aronson with the ball. I see DCL in the middle, and I see Okafor on the left. I'm if Aronson can play the perfect ball, they're going to score. Mm-hmm. I see the ball. I see Okafor get it. I see him put it in, and I just lose my shit. And the guy next to me, he let in, but I definitely was yeah, get in. Yeah. Yeah. Love it. Very good. Very good. And post-match, do they just send you straight out into the street, or do you do something after the match as well? So yeah, it's the hospitality was open for another hour. They had macaroons. Mm-hmm. Of course, got another pint because why not? Did they do the player of the match up there or no? Because I've seen some clubs where they'll do whoever got the player of the match, they'll have them come up and get it in front of the people in the hospitality suite. So they had the post game kind of wrap up, but they didn't have player of the match come up. Oh, okay, gotcha. Very good. There's probably another level that they go to that. Yeah. I know they always will typically have one player hand it to another player in the interview, but I've also seen that there's clubs that have the player of the match go up to the hospitality suite and thank you for coming out for the match, blah blah blah, a real quick hello. But they all get to see the player with their player of the match fucking trophy for the day. Oh, very cool. And then how long did you stick around after that? So we went back to Leeds, or this Elland Road's kind of a couple miles away from the city center, right? So we both stayed in the city center. Mm-hmm. So we went back and got some Southern Indian food for dinner, and then got a few more pints. Talked to some Norwegians. I got Southern Indian food because what everybody gets here in the States is all Northern Indian food. You don't there's one place in DC that does Southern Indian. Yeah, it was Kerala or something. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was really good. And I was still kind of full from lunch. Right. So we kind of split a bunch of stuff. So it worked out. Excellent. And then when did you fly back home? So we did Prague and Munich afterwards. No shit. Yeah. Very nice. Very cool. Yeah, our friends, we did Frühlingsfest, which is the spring Oktoberfest.
And did you refrain from going to any more soccer matches, or were you told by your wife this would be the end of our marriage if you go more soccer matches?
No, I think she would have let me, but we had other stuff going on.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Very good. Very, very good.
So I got back Monday night.
Mm-hmm. And was that your first time at Elland Road proper? Because I know you went to the Norwich game.
Second. So we went in 2019 for our honeymoon.
Got it. Okay.
And then other stuff. But yeah.
Very cool. And then you also went to the Norwich match, right?
Yeah.
And that was the other one you did too?
Yeah, I had to sit on my hands in the home end.
Yeah, because you just had to pretend like you were just a Norwich supporter. Very good. Well, like I said, Leeds pretty much safe, right? Which is, and we talked about this very briefly at the start. If I was to tell you, you are going to make a deep cup run, you're going to be safe, and you're going to get 4 points each off of both United and Chelsea, you would have probably ripped my arm off for that, right?
Oh, I would have snapped your arm off.
Yeah.
And I would have said, what, 4th round?
Yeah. Like,
yeah.
I mean, you guys, yeah, exactly. Like, making it to fucking Wembley, like, it ended up being an off day. Like, you never play well at Wembley for Leeds. You just never do. And honestly, Chelsea kind of pulled a U on you is what it felt like.
We haven't dove like that ever.
Yeah.
We haven't played that shithousery ever.
Yeah.
They're a £1 billion squad. It's kind of like, it's a little bit respectful, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Saying you can't beat us with skill. You have to roll around on the floor.
Yeah. Yeah. And,
but they didn't play well. Chelsea deserved to win.
So one brief, and then we'll get into the rest of the matches. But like I said, I really wanted to spend proper time with you and your trip. For the team next year, what are the major changes you need to make sure you stay up again? Because the last time you were up, you finished in top 10 and then fucked right off out of the league the next year.
Well, we barely survived and then fucked off.
Yeah.
I guess they've been pretty lucky with injuries this year. I think they've lost the least amount of games due to injury.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's more improving.
Do you think there's anybody you lose to another club? Do you think there's anybody's going to come in for?
I mean, I think Stack's been really good.
Mm-hmm.
He's somebody I haven't heard talked about, but I could see something like that happening. Maybe I think DCL, the way he plays, he's kind of, there's a reason he hasn't gone to a big club.
Right.
So you would think that he would probably stay around.
He fits you guys very well.
Yeah. I'm hopeful it's more just kind of the fringe players that haven't played a lot.
Mm-hmm.
There was talk about Tanaka going, but he's kind of gotten more minutes lately.
Right.
Maybe,
well, you kind of got Longstaff because you weren't sure on Tanaka in the Prem.
Yeah, I think, Longstaff is like a solid pro that's Premier League experience.
Right.
So I don't know if anyone individually is like at that level where, like a top 6 team's going to come calling.
Right.
Because if you're at Leeds, why would you go to somewhere like Palace or Fulham or Bournemouth compared to Leeds?
Unless you're playing in Europe. Unless, like, let's say Palace is in Europe or, Bournemouth is in Europe, you might go there simply to play European football.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But other than that.
Yeah. I mean, I think they definitely could use more depth. And then I could see somebody like Nanto probably leaving.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever else hasn't been playing.
No, Nato's not getting a ton of minutes, so
Yeah.
I can imagine he wants to go and play.
Maybe Dan James leaves.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, very good. Well, then let's get back to the actual action, back to the week in hand. It could not have gone possibly worse for West Ham. That was absolutely the worst fucking case scenario for the Irons.
Yeah. 3 goals. 3-0. Yeah. It's what can you say?
Yeah. It's like, if you're gonna lose, that's fine. Lose 1-0. Don't lose 3-0. Like, or especially with the way they've been playing, right?
Yeah.
Like, you would have thought that, especially off the back of the Everton win, the way they won that game, just kind of would have thought they would have had something. And it was over by halftime, man.
Yeah, and Brentford's cooled off.
Yeah, exactly. Now Brentford right back in the thick of it, back in 7th place. I mean, 6th to 11th are legitimately separated by 2 points. Anyone could be in those final 2 European spots.
Yeah, I just looked at the Opta XG stats, and it's such a clusterfuck. Like everyone is the same this year, other than basically Arsenal and Wolves Burnley at the other end.
Yeah. I mean, precisely. It just in for Brentford, you know what? Good rebound after a disappointing week the week before. They seem to be there, right? For me, it just something feels like they're gonna ultimately miss. And I don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, they don't have a deep squad, but I think they'll probably fall into Conference League at least.
Yeah, but I mean, you're not keeping Thiago.
Yeah, probably not.
You're not.
But
You're not.
they always just find somebody else. They're fucking Brentford. They always find a striker.
I know. It seems so odd. They always seem to just up front across the board. They always seem to find somebody else. You know. They've done it now since they've been in the championship. Back in the days of the BMW crew with Watkins and Wemo and Mope.
Yeah.
Like they just always seemingly know how to re-up every single time.
Yeah.
Moving on. Honestly, the red card changed everything in Wolves and Sunderland. Otherwise, I think Sunderland probably wins that match. But for Sunderland, it is absolutely the next to Granit Xhaka. Ballard being the one who got the red card is the worst fucking possible thing for them, because that's the guy who has held them down all season in the back.
Yeah, he's been there. I'm not sure how long, but I know he's there in the championship. I think he's been a few years. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of their emotional leader as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Outside of Xhaka.
Yeah. And then with Wolves, I mean, at least you get a point, right? Like,
yeah, kind of.
Edwards is starting to see what he has. He's kicking the tires with the young players, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Figuring out who you're going to keep, who's going to be on that squad in the championship. I'm not sure they're a come right back up team. I don't know if there's enough depth in their youth system, because that's, if you go down to the championship, you better have a pretty good fucking youth academy ready to play, because some of those kids are going to have to play very critical roles on your team. And then the money you're going to spend when you're in the championship isn't like you're buying a project. You're trying to buy someone who's going to bring you automatic on the field success in the championship. And that type of player is not a Premier League player.
Well, we've got Joel Pirro for sale. Come and get him, Wolves.
Precisely. They are championship players for a reason.
Yeah.
They do really well there. They're very used to that level of physicality, that rolling schedule. They can manage that.
Well,
but
they already
can't
got
do it beyond there.
They already got Adam Armstrong. That's the first step.
Oh, yeah. God, yeah. He's a master in the damn championship. Yeah. That guy's a 20-goal scorer every year in the championship.
Oh, yeah. Promotion masterclass.
Yep.
Relegation masterclass, too, unfortunately.
Don't look now. Cherries are now in fucking 6th place. Yeah, 6th fucking place.
Yeah, it's
15 games unbeaten after an absolute nosedive. And here's the funny part. It was a nosedive. And then the start of that 15-game unbeaten run was a shit ton of draws. It wasn't like they were winning games at first.
Yeah, you could do the other way around and go, they haven't won a match and they've only won 3 of their last 15 or whatever. It's more than that, but it's been so many draws.
Well, it's been a bunch of wins in a row recently, but for the long night, but for the most part, it's been a lot of fucking draws.
Yeah.
But you got to, this is another one of those teams. I think they're more primed to be able to manage Europe than Brentford is, although they're losing their manager, and inevitably players are going to get picked off from them. This is what always happens.
Yeah. So they're a small, tiny fucking club that should be in League One.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a tiny, tiny little stadium. It really is. But the new ownership group has really thought out how they do things. Honestly, they've taken a lot of the Brighton model and they've done it to a T. And I feel like they'll be able to take that European money and invest it a little bit smarter than, say, Brentford would, because Brentford would just have to do it for depth. I think Bournemouth would be doing it more for a particular slot of player to fill. Now, who's the manager going to be? I don't know.
Marco Rose. I think they announced Marco Rose. He managed in Germany. I think he's been at like Dortmund, Mönchengladbach. Never really won much, but he's been in Europe. So this is kind of one of those, it could go either way.
Well, and at some point, if you haven't won in Germany, but you're ready to make the move as a manager to the Prem, this is kind of the club you got to go to. You got to go prove yourself.
But if you don't go to Bayern, you don't win in Germany anyways. So it's very hard.
Dortmund wins a little.
Yeah.
You know, so to say he was at Dortmund and didn't win, normally Dortmund finds a way to win something every year.
Yeah.
You know, normally they can win the League Cup or like, you know, the domestic trophy, but they don't always. Sometimes they've won the league, not a ton, but they've won it a couple of times. So, you know, he obviously needs to prove himself, but he's going to have to prove himself with a smaller club, and Bournemouth's probably the right fit. What did I miss there? Tell me.
Newcastle, Brighton.
Oh, yeah, Newcastle, Brighton. Newcastle kicked the shit out of Brighton, and God, they desperately needed to, because I think Hal would have been fired if they didn't win.
And they still almost blew it.
Yeah.
They should have been up much more than 2-1, and Brighton had chances at the end, and they finally got the clincher.
Agreed.
Harvey Barnes saw those yellow kits and thought he was playing Leeds.
Yep.
He just had to score.
Yeah, it's I fear for Newcastle because they're not going to make Europe, and I fear they are going to lose some massive pieces. Now, the good news out of that is they are going to get a lot of money for those massive pieces.
So Voltemata and Gordon didn't play against Brighton. So I wonder if Hal's already kind of saying who wants to be here for my project, because he's going to be back next season. And if Gordon and Voltemata don't want to be there, fuck off. I'll find somebody that wants to play.
Yeah. I feel like you could probably get a penny for Voltemata. You're definitely going to get a good penny for Gordon. But I feel like Bruno Guimaraes is going to want to play Champions League ball. And frankly, he deserves to.
He's going to get paid.
Yeah, he deserves to. And I think Tonali is ultimately going to move on as well. So they're going to have a lot of things they have to fix in the middle of the park. I
mean, I think generally they've done well with their signings. This year, I guess Visa's been hurt a lot. And then the Ishak that really fucked. The Ishak thing fucked everything up. Yeah, for Liverpool and Newcastle.
Yeah, it really did. Yeah. That holdout really did affect them. And in the case of Brighton, it was like
they're so inconsistent. They're just always inconsistent.
The only thing consistent about Brighton is Brighton's inconsistency. And here, everybody were starting to think, oh wait, hold on, they might make Europe again.
Champions League? Yeah.
Nope. And would I be surprised if they are in a European spot? No, I would not. But I also wouldn't be surprised they finished in 12th.
Yeah, anything could happen.
You're right. Like, again, the only thing consistent is the mass inconsistency of that club. This entire season is how it's been.
Leeds' last home match of the season is Brighton. And I think if they've clinched safety, you know, it's gonna be like a party atmosphere. It'll be like in the championship before it came down to the last match of the season and they were worried about winning the league. And they just like stepped on Bristol Cities, who ended up making the playoff 4-0.
Right.
I'm hoping that something similar happens.
That would be funny. And then the final match of the day was this morning, a weird one, a Monday morning match. We don't normally see that, right?
Well, fucking Brits have a bank holiday every other fucking week.
Fair enough. This was all Forest, and Forest scored quickly, too. They set the tone right away.
Hey, Villa, you can still rotate and also fucking play.
Yeah.
Surprising. I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, exactly. And they played them off the fucking pitch, and For Chelsea, I mean, you think of all the things that could have gone wrong. You know, there was the opportunity to be back in the game, and Palmer misses a penalty.
Yeah. I mean, it was like a 10-minute break in between when they called the penalty and when he took it.
Yeah, but
because the kid went down.
Right. Well, then that's the other thing, too. I was going to get to that was the two massive head injuries. The one for the kid, and I mean, was it Yates that collided with him on that one that was head to head?
It was somebody I hadn't heard of, so I think it was one of the guys they brought in.
Yeah,
they had to bring in Nico Williams for him. So.
But it was not. It was neither player. I mean,
I didn't see a replay.
When they don't show a replay, it was that fucking bad. The highlights on Peacock, they showed it once.
Okay,
and then that was it.
Yeah.
Now, the one that potentially very much hurts Forest is that later on, Morgan Gibbs-White comes on. They were rotating players. He comes on, and he gets clocked and had stitches and a massive knot in his head.
Yeah.
Robert Sanchez goes out as well. I mean, insanity there.
I mean, you see why teams rotate, because if Gibbs White is out, that's a massive plus for Villa.
Oh, big time. If he ends up being out. And I talked about this when I did my halftime check-in on the Tiki Takis. You want to talk about what a gorgeous goal that was by Yao Pedro, and you want to say, you know what, 20-goal season, good on him. And then you look at the organization and you realize that they don't even fucking care. They don't care that they're in 9th place right now.
I had no idea. I looked at the table and I was like, what? Chelsea's in 9th?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all that organization now sees is not a good young player that has slowly gone up the system, started at Watford, went to Brighton, and all he's done is improve and improve and improve. And
we called him João Pedro for a reason. And
Right.
this season, it's Palmer takes all the penalties.
Yep, Palmer takes all the pens. But to see him continue to improve, and then just to know that in that organization, they see that as dollar signs, and they will likely sell him. And it's like, that's not Chelsea. Chelsea's normally trying to win a title. And we looked at this incredibly young, talented team over the past couple of seasons and went, they're going to be title contenders this year.
They would have walked to Champions League if they didn't fire Maresca.
Yeah, but they somehow they know better. And if there's a squeaky wheel, they get rid of it. And it's just it's shocking. And I mean, not that we're going to be that bent out of shape about watching a Big Six club
fuck 'em.
fail, but in the same regards, for if you're a Chelsea supporter, you got to be ripping your fucking hair out right now. Because that's not who you are. That's not the club you support. The club you support wants to win a treble every fucking year. Like, that's the club you support. That's who they're supposed to be. And they're just becoming this kind of investment firm run by a bunch of fucking investment
Americans.
bros.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of disgusting to watch. It's like, at least with Spurs, they're just a fucking laughing stock and falling apart. Like, with Chelsea, it's like they just don't care. They're like, we're going to make our money. Who gives a shit? Like, get paid, make money. Woo!
Yeah. I'm setting the lineup, bitch. I'm Todd Bowley.
Sure money.
All right. I know Graham probably did not hit his bet. And but I am.
He certainly didn't hit under 3.5 for Everton City.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so we know he's down. Geck, do you have a bet for us this week?
I don't have odds,
Okay.
but I would say Brentford double chance against City.
Okay.
I'll
Got
just
it.
leave it at that.
Got it. Brentford double chance at City.
No, fuck it. Brentford money line.
Brentford money line. Yeah.
We'll get the odds.
Let the title go away. All right. Well, so I lost. I am now down $2,567.
Big Sam's Lock of the Week.
Geck, did you know that 6.060606060661% of the time it works 100% of the time? And I am going to continue with my
9-way
10-game
parlay.
Exactly. We are going to keep doing this until the bitter end. I'm not even giving you who they're beating. I'm just giving you the winners, and I'm going all winners this week. Liverpool to win, Brighton to win, Manchester United to win, Bournemouth to win, City to win. It goes against you, and I hope I lose. Villa to win, Forest to win, Everton to win, Arsenal to win, and Leeds to beat Spuds in London. Plus $105,287 fucking dollars.
I just looked it up. Brentford is plus 650.
There we go. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. That is absolutely fan-fucking-tastic. All right. Well, that is going to wrap it up, boys and girls. Mr. Geckel, any parting words?
I want to yell about this Bournemouth penalty.
Go for it.
So, Henderson drops the ball against his own teammate, goes to pick it up. Senesi rushes into him, takes a step, sees the ball's too far, and he goes down like he's been shot.
Mm-hmm.
And the referee, he gives him the pen.
Right.
And VAR can't overturn it because there was contact.
Oh.
But this is a fucking contact sport. It was obvious that the contact did not affect him running. He fell over because he couldn't get to the fucking ball.
Right.
And that shit's got to stop. I'm sick of it.
It almost feels like they're fucking up VAR specifically so that it can go away.
I hope that's the answer.
Yeah.
Because it's fucking shit.
It's been truly terrible. Well, I mean, here's the sad part is it's not, right?
No, it's not going to go away.
It's being adopted by the rest of the world. Everybody else is doing it. Somehow everybody else does it better, which, I mean, you're the
less poorly, I think.
You're the fucking Premier League. You're supposed to be the gold standard as far as the leagues go, right? And you somehow seemingly have these excuses, these long-winded excuses for everything, for what is or isn't a handball, what is allowed to be contact, what isn't allowed to be contact, who's grabbing hair and who's not grabbing hair. Like just, it almost feels like VAR wants to set the narrative that would have just been the shitty call anyways back in the day before there was VAR.
I just came off of 2 seasons in the championship, and the refereeing there is also quite poor. But at least with the decision's made, and you move on.
Right. Yep.
And you go, okay, we got screwed. Okay, whatever.
Yes.
Well, be up by more than one goal. Don't worry about it.
Good news, Geck. You don't have to worry about the championship next season.
Goddamn right.
That is going to wrap it up, boys and girls. Next up is DU Does EFL, where we're going to talk about the rest of English football. And oh boy, do we have some shit to talk about Geck. Because unlike Graham, Geck watched everything. Yep, in the veins. In the fucking veins. And of course, after that will be injury time, where we preview our weekend's action, talk about the beers that we were drinking, and we also check in on our fantasy and our adopted club. Should somebody want to support Injury Time, Producer Mel, how do they go about doing that?
Well, you can just follow us at patreon.com/GU Football Show. But it's so much easier if you just scroll down a little bit, find that click that says something like buy us a beer, give us some money, naked feet of Grams, one of those things. Click on it and sign up. It'll give you extra stuff.
Ooh, Graham's feet. That'd be fun. Till next week, everybody.
Good night.
Peace.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston.
Sam Houston.
Arsenal fans have another Sam. Right day, the fucking Gooner Graham. Snub of my lord. Look straight in shorts. Sam Graham, hey.
Sam Graham.
Brooklyn United! Brooklyn United! Hit the fucking mute button!